So actually, the main reason why I'm moving to automation, and my job will probably exist in 2 years, is just because it's simply impossible to take into account all the signals we have to and take them into account in the auctions. So we can obviously like analyze keywords, analyze like which keywords work the best, but you cannot do it manually all the time. It's taken lots of energy, it's wasting lots of time, and it's not efficient. And if you can only imagine how much in resources and time Google is investing into automation, it's incredible. So if you know, like we used to have app campaigns that help you promote your apps. Now you cannot there are no manual campaigns for apps anymore. There's just one, which is called Universal App Campaign, which is basically doing everything for you. You just enter your text, your icon from Google Play, and that's it. And it optimizes for you. It gives you installs or conversions for the price you want to pay. So it's going all automated. I shared this presentation with the guys already, but I think it's good to repeat because it's really, really important for us. It's like the biggest priority. Automation is literally everything, and like our biggest bet. Yeah, so keyword bits, it's you can add keywords, you can add manually bits for different keywords, high bits for very precise keywords, like lower bits for very generic terms, but you won't be able to take into account different times, different weekdays, different devices, etc., or like from where people are looking for this keyword. And obviously, you will never be able, you won't even know if people are on a particular device or like they speak a particular language, if they are using a particular operating system. So there are many, many signals, what they used to look, what they were looking for before seeing your ad, what they're going to be most probably going to be looking after, etc. So all those different complex signals, they are not absolutely there is no way for you to know them, but Google knows this information and we can use it in smart bidding. So how it's working, it's an advanced machine learning that helps you actually that automatically corrects the bids and uses auction time signals. Lots of data points. So for instance, you have a manual bid of $1 for a particular keyword. We have two people. One person, say it's Jack. He's using a Nexus tablet. It's currently 4 p.m. He's somewhere in the States, like using Firefox, and he actually made a misspelling in his keyword term. So, but the system knows that, for instance, this particular area and this particular device, they convert much more often. So the system will readjust the bid for this particular user. So the system readjusts your bids depending on the probability of conversion. And there are different signals that are taken into account. What's more important? The system analyzes behavioral patterns. Those I told you about. For instance, when you were looking for looking for jobs, then for MBA, then for actually offline MBAs, then again online MBAs. So people do have similar patterns in their behavior, and it can be tracked. And the system can use those patterns in optimization. Again, like one of the examples, for instance, Chrome converts 2%, 2 points higher than Firefox. Again, we can use it in our meeting to readjust for this conversion probability. So what are the strategies we are currently using? So obviously you can just, if you care about clicks, you can use maximize clicks strategy. It's bad because what you're looking for isn't clicks, you're looking for people who convert, right? So it's not the most efficient way of targeting. Then we can use target CPA. So you tell the system, okay, give me conversions for this particular price. You enter this value, and the system tries to get you as many conversions as it can for this particular value. So it analyzes all those signals to give you the right audience. Or like if you still cannot, if you don't know, it actually also recommends you a target CPA value. If you don't know at all, like if you have no idea which CPA to ask for, it can recommend you. It can tell you, okay, we believe that for this conversion, you might pay X dollars. Like, let's test it. If you don't want to switch to this target CPA bidding, you can still use CPC, but with enhanced algorithm. It's called enhanced CPC. When the system takes into account conversions, but you still bid on CPC. But like ideally, we would like with your new CRM, ideally in half a year, we would like to see target ROAS, so target return on ad spend. You tell the system, okay, we need like our target ROAS at like around, I don't know, 100%. Please find us cheap leads so that we are profitable. And that's like, but in that case, we need to know the value of each conversion, which is not possible without proper integration with the new CRM system. So for us, the guys have already tried one of those, and we have simulations in the accounts. And you can run experiments. So for instance, if you're not sure if smart bidding would work for you, it should work. But if you're not sure, if you don't want to risk it all, you can tell the system to use half of your traffic, and basically half the budget will be used with spent on on just normal CPC. Half will be spent on target CPA.
And then we can compare what works better.
Yeah, and then you have this bar on the top, and it actually can track the performance. You can see like if the difference was statistically significant, and then you can always push a button called add and now. If you see that it's much worse, you can just stop it straight away, or you can just use apply to. If you're satisfied with the results, you can click apply, and this new bidding strategy will be applied to the whole campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So A/B testing. Again, so you have different conversions, and the system should know, for instance, which campaigns are the most profitable to push them to get you the cheaper leads. And if you're using proper attribution, then in that case, the system will know, okay, campaign A gives us it's good for finding first and finding the leads, and campaign B is good for actually as a second step helping them to convert. So it will be pushing for new users campaign A, for existing users campaign B. Usually, if we use last click attribution, usually brand campaigns, they show really good results. Last click attribution attributes most of the value to branding campaigns, just because they actually help to finish the conversion path.
Can we enable this in AdWords or
yeah? You just go to the AdWords account, conversions, and for each conversion you can change the type of the attribution.
And if we have an MCC and we're using the same tracking code, will this attribute to different accounts campaigns?
No, it should be set up at the account level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I took actually one of the accounts. It's Art University again, and it's just one of the biggest, that's why. So here are the campaigns, and we have a simulation machine. I can share data for each account, but particularly for this account, so there are campaigns and how many conversions currently they generate. So within the current budget, if we switch to target CPA bidding, that's their incremental conversion uplift. And so within the same budget, they will give additionally 7 conversions, which is okay, which is a 15% increase. Yep.
Guys, sorry for interrupting you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
So suppose that it's just a sample, because I see the campaign names and it's not our actual company's visual eye.
Actually, it should be.
So it's a completely different account. I'm not
The
sure
UK,
even which one, because we completely not targeting UK.
Maybe the campus one. Yeah.
Maybe the campus ones they are.
Yeah, maybe some old data, but it's not our current account.
I read it today, just before the meeting, and it maybe it wasn't.
We do have a lot of AdWords accounts for Arden.
Yeah.
We have a lot of accounts, and some of them were used before.
It's Arden account, which is managed by another team outside of Global University Systems, as far as I know.
It's the agency account, right?
It's the agency account.
Okay, yeah, it's the agency account. Okay, yeah. Yeah. But actually, the campaign you tested, I think it was, or maybe it's another agency test, but actually there was a trial and they saw a 55% decrease in CPA and conversion increased by 15%. It was this particular customer. Not sure, but you also, I know Dim also did trials with another account of Arden, and there we also saw, like, if you look at the graph, there was an increase in conversions. So there are successful trials of target CPA. Obviously, with proper attribution, they will be more successful. But even with last click, maximized conversions of target CPA, they are better than just targeting, than using manual CPC bidding.
And quick question: if we change it today, will it apply retrospectively or only from today on?
From today on.
No, I just want to add a few points to all this conversation about new automated bidding and so on and so on. First of all, we have external system in place, which is Marine Software, which is doing for us automated bidding. That's we need to keep in mind. Also, you guys also need to remember that the BPC team, Belarusian team, it's operating and working with all Global University system brands. So some functions we are testing for interactive already, but some functions we're testing on another brands. So, for example, new attribution stuff I'm testing for your law business school. So I just want to let you know that we are running different tests with all these new functions. Not all of them allocated on interactive. Don't want to be in a situation when tomorrow you come to us saying that you want to try everything in one time.
Okay,
Yeah, because we will be sharing some results with these with the different attribution. We'll show you how it looks like and so on. We already started to implement micro conversion for Google Analytics in order to understand how we can segment and blah blah blah. So it's like a long story. But you also need to remember that it's not only about interactive brand, but also about all other brands. Yeah, so
we know that.
Yeah.
For sure, it's going to take also some time for us to also understand what all the new functionalities and go through all the documentation and of course will take time.
Yeah, it's not about that just like taking time, but I don't want to be like in a hurry with all these changes, additional changes, because for some accounts new attribution is working quite well, but for example, for your law business school, I have a lot of questions on how we can use this data, how we can analyze this data, and so on. So just give us some time.
We'll start with one brand, and then based on the results, we can start to implement on the other brands. For sure, it's not going to be massive.
When can we start?
Implementation.
Tomorrow.
I guess we can start, but they're gonna prioritize based on their.
So Arden first.
Sorry, can I just take charger? Okay, while I'm charging my laptop, it died. I'm sorry. So for Interactive Pro, what's the top brand? Like, what's your top priority?
Right now would be probably Arden.
Arden.
And Adobe, like.
Well, Adobe is a new brand, so
it's like
still there is not yet a priority there. But of course, we want to grow the brand. But
yeah, Dima told me yesterday, the day before yesterday, that like he started trials, right? testing like how a new website is working.
Yeah,
like,
mostly to look at the UX on the website. Those campaigns were mostly for that reason, also for the brand awareness, but as well to see how the website overall is performing. So
then Vitaly,
yeah.
So tomorrow, like our industry manager, he'll be meeting Vitaly,
Great.
like on the VC. So he also like wanted to like deep dive into how like it's all working like at the product side. What's the long-term vision for the?
But this will be. We should wait for the new CRM or.
For the similar audiences.
For similar audiences, no.
Because we can just
for the
export
specific
email
ones, if we want them updated in real time, for example, application started or
like status reason and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can remark it.
Probably you and the proc would start first.
Yeah, but you guys can do smart bidding or other tests.
Smart bidding can work through.
Mm-hmm.
At least like experiments, it's safe. Like, yeah. So that can be charging.
We could just do broad segments though with the current stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah, and
like,
manually upload it with the frequency of every week or.
We can see it like the leads report from Remarket YouTube.
Plus, we have on all the pages, we have the pixel.
Mm-hmm.
So the remarketing one. So it executes. It's storing the user, so you guys
Right,
can remarket. But we need to segment better. For now, we just remarket non-lead submitters with the same message, and it's a big audience.
So by segment better, you mean?
By status reason.
By freshness, for example, visitors in the last hour, visitors last day, 7 days. Then we cross-sell other programs after 1 week if they didn't react.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 1 day minimum.
Okay, so in analytics is 1 hour or double click. In double click, bid manager is.
Yeah. Are you using double click or like?
No, but we would be interested in learning more about the updates and how it improved in the last 1.5 years.
Okay, so I said I think to Lena I sent the file with double click. So it's possible to we're supporting Google AdWords. There is a separate team who is supporting all double click activities. So they have for direct clients there is a year spend, like minimum spend. Otherwise, it's possible to launch double-click campaigns with agencies. So if it's less than the benchmark, then
what's the benchmark?
Ascent will double-check. It's our industry manager. Last time it was 400 a year.
Million.
No, it was $400 $400K a quarter, I think. But like
we're gonna correct the budget this year.
Like 1.6 million. Yeah.
We're gonna have 700 per month after we switch to the new CRM and everything goes smoothly. So we're gonna increase our budgets by 6 times versus next year or more.
But Lisa, am I correct saying that this budget 400 per quarter is for display campaigns? It's not for search.
Yeah. So double click is just it's our premium assets in display and YouTube.
Yeah, in YouTube. Sure.
Display,
I don't think we.
Q3 we can maybe start.
With YouTube for both display, probably not.
Yeah, YouTube counts it.
Yeah.
So a huge advantage of double click is that it comes with Analytics 360, which allows to track all the attribute all the value and analyze all the media mix, all the media mixes. But yeah, so regarding search, AdWords auto bidding, it's the easiest and the first step we can take. One of the examples, just once again, for instance, if it was if I talk about manual bidding, for instance, we can put 0.35 cents, just for all the keywords, 4-star hotels Barcelona, etc. But on the other hand, if we're using smart bidding, the system will know that, for instance, very precise keywords, they are more valuable and they are more likely to get the lead. So it will bid higher on those very high performance and very narrow keywords, and bid less on those keywords like hostels Barcelona, hotels Barcelona, very generic, broad terms.
Do we have any case study, smart bidding versus marine software or other automation tools?
So no, it's like with all the partners, like since they're working with AdWords as well, like they're kind of our partners. So there is no like we don't do those studies actually with Marie software. It's just like testing and checking what's working best.
I mean, definitely Google uses signals that they don't have access to.
Yeah, that's the biggest advantage of Google auto bidding. We always recommend to go for auto bidding just because like again, like it's incredible how much time now if you go to the toilet, by the way, like you'll see even there, like there are like new updates, auto bidding, like what was added, etc. So like it's little like this presentation, the signals they're using, it has changed like 5 times during the last 2 quarters, and it's always like they added new signals, testing, and then like adding them new algorithms, and it's getting much better, much smarter. So machine learning is learning, and it's like for us, it's the biggest priority now, and it's like the product like we would like to develop. Obviously, like it's still a work in progress. It's learning. The more data we have, the better it can get. But for now, it's already like shows quite good results. For instance, now it's like it's using location signals. In late Q4, they added actually RLSA signals. For instance, the system checks if the person has already been in the audience list, and if he got there when. There are differences between those users who were there like a year ago.
3191 strips.
Oh,
sorry.
It's okay. So obviously, people who got there 2 months ago are different from people who got there last week. And it's now it can distinguish between those two, and obviously readjust the bids according to the length of being in those lists. And it uses mobile app signals, which is amazing because people they use different learning apps like Duolingo, I don't know, like and the system knows if they are actually learning new languages or if they are like learning new coding skills in those apps, and what are they actually doing in those apps. Google Play is quite big, especially in developing markets. So there we have Android is predominantly like white, like has like in Russia, for instance, Android is 80% of the market share. In developing markets, it's quite high as well due to cheaper devices. So this data from Android devices and from Google Play we're also using.
Do we need to make any special considerations regarding GDPR with sharing the data between your stuff and our stuff?
Sorry?
The GDPR, the new data protection laws from the European Union, do we have to make any considerations with these campaigns?
Definitely.
Or no?
It's on the advertiser side. How you use the list for cross-selling between brands, definitely.
Okay.
It's our problem, basically.
Yeah.
We have
to opt-in. And,
Since you started this, it's your project.
It is like the worst.
It's not really
just
about
the new
your
regulations that are
brand,
changing in April.
it's how you use the data as a company.
Right,
Whatever.
but correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a combination of Google's data and our data, right?
Yeah. So, for instance, if you're not uploading if you're not using customer match, if you're not uploading email addresses, right, to the system, then it's just our data.
Okay.
If you're integrating your CRM, if you're sending back data from your CRM to AdWords, it's a combination of two. So right now, like by default, the data we're using is just data we can get from the user behavior and what they're looking for on different Google platforms. So it's our problem. Like when you start importing back data from your CRM systems, like then it's a combination of two.
But how we use your data, for example, for cross-selling one brand's programs to another one's, I think this is on our end, right?
I don't. It's a good question.
How we use?
I think they would just count as a third party.
Who, Google?
Yes. So as long as we're covered with that, then we would just have to mention Google as a third party data processor, I suppose. I'll look into it. Sorry, I don't know if that's a relevant question for you, but it's something I'll figure out.
Yeah, I'm afraid of being mistaken here because like it's a policy question, and all the policy questions are tricky, and like it's better to double check them with the policy team.
It's confusing for
I'm
us.
definitely I've been reading on this for like months. But there's so much stuff in there.
I know. I haven't really looked into it.
It's the worst,
we have a
really.
webinar.
Yeah, next week.
Next time.
Sure. Sorry, back to you.
And you can use different CPA bits for different tablets, basically, for different devices.
Mhm.
If
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so experiments.
Target CPA, sorry, by device.
Yeah. So for instance, yeah, CPA for mobile should be lower than.
And so far, we haven't had this kind of separation, right?
I think the guys for sure bid differently, but they just don't tell us.
Okay, Dima.
Can we do it by browser also, or
No,
just devices?
just device and location.
Mm.
Experiments. So yes, just data. As there are some case studies for SurveyMonkey, OLX, yeah, for smart bidding. But like, if you want, like, there are many more.
From Romania?
89% more
From where?
conversions.
Romania?
Oh, I need to check with Romanian team.
That's conversions to new leads, right?
For different brands, different. For retail, it's like buying something
So-
online, online purchases. For real estate, it's usually a call.
Mhm.
For education, it's leads, submissions, form submissions.
Mhm.
For telecom, it's usually leads as well, or calls. So it depends. Depending on the vertical, it varies.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, different, like there are just some instructions in this presentation. Do you have any questions about smart bidding?
At least compared to double-click search, or some KPIs inside the Google products, smart bidding versus double-click for search, but maybe for the other teams.
Yeah, so
Better
Arsene will talk about double-click tomorrow. Because like we were trying to finalize to prepare a draft of the joint business plan. Like it's not a business plan, it's just like some guidance, like where we would like to, on which products we would like to focus more. And we added double-click there as well. So Arsene, tomorrow we cover double-click part.
Cool. I was double the question.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we have like roughly, we have like half an hour left. And YouTube then?
Yep, sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. So obviously, how YouTube, it's a big topic. If you could share before we start, like how do you perceive like YouTube? So are you considering it as a just a tool to generate awareness, brand awareness, or as a performance tool as well, or as like something you'd like to test at a later stage? So what's your current perception of YouTube as a tool?
Brand
Or
awareness.
three.
probably.
So far, we
Combination of
only use
sort of
other ads, but
things.
we haven't been using it, as I said. But
We definitely need to scale remarketing
Yeah.
from YouTube and on YouTube.
Yeah, and similar audiences, because
Yeah.
it's like kind of remarketing, but for new users.
Mhm.
So like it's in between. It's a very it's a much better instrument. Cool. Yeah, I'll tell you about targeting strategies available on YouTube and different formats, and how to measure their success. Yeah, obviously, also a very famous quote by the former CEO of McDonald's. So yes, it doesn't make sense to advertise at scale if like just to find like 2 or 3 leads. And that's why like there's been a long journey on how to make YouTube a performance tool, not just like a reach, a tool to increase reach, but like to actually find conversions over there. And again, we can use data we get from search on YouTube. So all those patterns, consumer patterns, search patterns, we can actually take this data from Google search and use it on YouTube when targeting YouTube. Obviously, what we have, like I'll briefly go through obvious ones: demographic targeting, like of course, parents, not parents, interests, and there are people who are passionate about, I don't know, online education or website design, and you can create your own affinity audiences. For instance, you can enter, as we said before, you can enter keywords, and then the system will find people who are expressing interest to those keywords. So you can create your own custom affinity audiences on YouTube.
And what's the connection with search?
Yeah, so how it's working. For instance, your custom affinity audience is online MBA. So you would like to find people who express interest in online MBA. So the system checks who are the people, what are people looking on Google, what are they searching on Google.com, and if the system can find people who are entering keywords such as online MBA, find online MBA, MBA degrees, offline, online, difference between offline and online MBA, then it can make a conclusion that probably this ID, the Google ID, belongs to someone who is interested in online MBA. And when this Google ID is active on YouTube, the system will target this Google ID.
And how is this by default in all accounts, or?
It's just
It's
when you
different
create
from keyword targeting on YouTube, which is very straightforward.
Yeah,
You use a keyword and then matches the YouTube page, or
So here, the difference is that here it checks what are people, or maybe they actually reading some Google partners, website of Google partners related to online MBA. So it uses signals from display and search, primarily from search because it's more accurate, and and then targets those people on YouTube.
So this is available through keyword targeting in YouTube.
No, you go to it's custom. It's
another
called customer.
type of campaign.
Customer affinity audiences. Also, people in Gmail, they also get and send emails, and this data can also be used. So what they are emails with which keywords are they getting on Gmail? And for instance, if we see that people are getting emails with "I can be online, thank you for your application, we'll consider your application," then it can decide that okay, this person is interested in online MBA, for instance.
And can we select or segment our campaigns? Queries from search, queries from Gmail.
No. You can just you enter keywords, a list of keywords, and then the system uses different platforms to find signals that will allow us to say that this Google ID, it's a combination of different platform signals. Then this Google ID is interested in online MBA.
Too bad.
We could have said, okay, in Gmail, if you get it.
Searching,
but in Gmail, the guys, they're actually using lots of, they're running lots of GSP campaigns, Gmail campaigns.
Do they? No, they do. We need to scale.
But in that case, you are targeting Gmail users, who are in their Gmail accounts, and then you can enter particular keywords they're getting in their Gmail letters. So, and that's how you can target them. Or live events. Also, I don't know, Dima, I'll ask him probably later. Dima launched a campaign targeting live events and keywords at the same time. Dima, do you know how successful it was? Have you checked?
About live events? We tried it only for YouTube. Advertising for Doge. Only for this, for the brand lead campaigns.
Because you were asking me, remember about GSP campaign? Keyword targeting plus live events?
Sorry? So about Gmail, currently we are not running for interactive brands. We are not running campaigns.
So
we did a test last year and it wasn't successful, but definitely we need to retest again if
with
it has good performance on other brands.
Better copy.
Better
I've seen some really good Gmail advertising.
Can I add something here? We're testing Gmail campaigns for other brands, and for part of them they're working perfectly. We can see a very good conversion rate and leads quality even for low performance countries.
So this is what we discussed for Arden.
Can you guys share really successful tests that you do? Maybe.
No, we won't share anything. We will keep it secret. Of course, we will share everything. We just need to finalize some experiments which are still running and not ready. Some of them were just not ready to show you because there is not enough data and so on. But it will be great if you can come up with some points which you would like to take a look first.
Gmail #1 and definitely
Gmail. Since you also confirmed, Elena, that Gmail is working very good for the other brands that you're working with, I guess we can maybe start using more the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we last week we discussed it for Arden.
Cool.
Yes, that we were going to launch it, but you know, about our target and so on.
Yeah.
Well, we also want that now.
We want everything today, starting from today.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so also there are people who are interested in particular products. There are also people who are actually looking for some products they are willing to buy. So for instance, there is a difference between someone who is checking, I don't know, Porsche cars, different models of Porsche cars, and someone who is actually comparing prices of Porsche cars. Like you can be preparing like a report on Honda for your for your school class, or you can be actually thinking of buying a Honda car. And in that case, your behavior and the types of websites you are checking is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's actually the difference between affinity. Affinity is interest for a particular category. In market is actually if someone is willing to buy something. So we have already prepared like uploaded types of different in-market audiences. And then you can choose from the list and like if there is anything relevant, target this particular in-market audience. So for instance, interest can be affinity audience can be cars, and then in-market audience can be buying a car, to buy a car. So this is the difference between affinity and in-market. In-market means the person is actually checking the prices. Affinity is just like reading lots of data about a particular product.
And do we have in-market audiences for education?
So there are 56, if I'm not mistaken, different in-market audiences.
We need to.
Yeah. Education, definitely yes. Graduate and like undergraduate, or like online and MBA as well. Regarding online, I need to check.
Cool.
So as you said, keywords. Also, it's targeting that can be used. You just enter keywords that people might be looking for, and the system will target those. And similar audiences, this is the type of targeting that we are focusing on. Again, yeah, we take them from search and we use it on YouTube. And customer match as well. So we have your emails, we can target those people as well, or similar people who have similar profiles. And remarketing. So remarketing on YouTube, definitely worth trying. Especially if you have a very powerful, ideally you should have different creatives. One creative for those who, for instance, have never heard of Dology, right? And the test that Dima was running that was really successful about like you had this ad, a Dology ad, like very bright, very dynamic. And it's good for actually building brand awareness, but also for those who have already seen your ad, ideally to have another one, like something emotional, to actually remind them of your offer. And for instance, English First, they did a very, very, very touching kind of ad, and they used it as a remarketing. So for summer schools, there is like a little kid who is like sitting in the classroom, then running somewhere in Malta, like to swim with his friends, and then they're having barbecue. So it's like all made in very, like you can find it on YouTube. So it's good to remind the parents that, okay, like your child can have like a very memorable summer. Don't forget about us. So they use it as a remarketing option. Yeah, so and there are different formats. There are skippable and not skippable ads. Basically, yeah, ads you can skip and ads that you cannot. So skippable, most popular is called TrueView in stream. TrueView because if the person clicks skip, it means you won't pay anything. You pay only if the person views more than 30% of your ad. So everything before 30 seconds is for free. And it's also good because some people, like, you should be able to put all your key messages in the first 5 seconds, right. And then, like, even if they skip, at least at the back of their mind, they will remember your brand. So, I'll tell you about the brand leave survey, but actually we did a study, and those people who skipped that, they still remember the brand when we ask them later. So like it works.
The advertiser doesn't pay immediately after the user didn't click skip after 5 seconds.
No. If they watch 15, and then click skip, you're still not paying. You pay only if 30 seconds is watched.
And if the spot is 10 seconds.
Oh?
If the spot is 10 seconds.
Yeah, if the ad is 10 seconds, then you will pay. And like if 10 seconds is watched.
Or if they click on the ad or not.
No, if they click skip.
On the
if they click on the link, because there are some with links on.
Yeah. So if there is an interactive, if there is an interactive element, so then you pay. If they, it doesn't matter if it was before or after 30 seconds.
But basically, so if it's a shorter video, they watch it in the whole replay, right?
Yeah. So it doesn't make So basically you can make those ads unskippable, but we don't recommend using like there was one ad that was targeting me all the time.
It's very annoying.
Yeah, like it's 1 minute and you couldn't skip it, so it's like okay,
I'm never buying that.
So 8 out of 10 people, they prefer in-stream skippable ads. So also there are discovery ads that appear under the suggestion section. They're good as a complementary source of leads, but usually we start with skippable TrueView. All those interactive elements you've just mentioned, there are different TrueView for a promo, but I'm not sure if it's relevant. Graham told me like not in the nearest future, but maybe later on, like your app strategy, like nothing.
No, we need it because we need to. We brief the people about the CTAs. We need to know what are the options for CTAs.
Oh, okay. But like, are you considering creating an app at some point of time, or?
Well, yeah. If Idology goes massively, as we expect it to go, for sure we can create an app on the brand.
But not before you can decide to create an app.
We don't have apps for.
We don't have
Canvas.
No, Canvas is accessible via browser, so they just go through the URL. But I think it's because Canvas is like a third-party software that we use. It's not our own invention.
There's an ACC app that has been in development for the past like 12 months in London. I'm not sure that will ever happen.
But but ACC, no one cares.
That's a long-term plan.
So you can use just different banners for apps, for instance, with the button install, or call to action overlays, like the ones you mentioned. TrueView cards, like different examples. So here a very important thing that we've not tried yet, and we don't really have any examples for education because it's relatively new. So it's called TrueView for shopping, but the word shopping shouldn't scare you away. It doesn't necessarily mean something retail related. So basically, if we can create a data feed with different courses, we can add those product cards or course cards as an additional information. So for instance, you have a video, like some emotional video about studying and getting and making your dreams come true. And on the right side, you have different cards with the courses, like say, like master in computer science, master in interior design, like whatever. Like, so different cards, clickable cards. So it combines kind of dynamic remarketing and video ads, or it can be just cards without remarketing. So it can be both.
And is the audience for that the average of all of them, considering it'll be multiple products at once? Like, how do you work out the targeting when you have like 3 or 4 different products simultaneously?
So you upload up like around 5 cards. So you should tell if this video is for, like, if it's a video related to some business degrees, then you tell the system, okay, this you enter in your data feed a category like business, and then you tell, okay, this video is business related, so please show cards with the that have attribute business in the data feed, and then it knows like which cards to which videos to connect.
Great.
So it can be, it's good because it's clickable. So it adds some interactive elements that can immediately get the person on your website. Plus, it can be working as a remarketing instrument when if the person clicked on particular courses, only those courses will show up in the video as cards on the right. Yeah, and how to measure the results. So yeah, I think I mentioned it today. So in the US, approximately 10 sources people will consider before buying a product, which is a lot. So attribution is still a huge challenge for us, and like 360 helps. But for now, who gets the credit for the conversion? So for YouTube campaigns, we run brand lift studies, and that's like the one we did with Dima. So the way it works, we show your ads for a group of people, and then we collect their cookies. And then we also take another sample that has never seen your ads. So we have two samples, those who viewed the ad, those who haven't. And then we have, there is a set of questions. We asked questions, each of the groups. So every single person gets a survey. It's like instead of the ad on YouTube. So they are asked, which of the brands have you recently
seen an ad?
Yeah, seen on YouTube. And then like there are
also competitors as well.
Yeah. That's how we measure. So it's statistically significant because a big sample is actually surveyed, and also the system checks actually how Google queries, how keyword, if people started looking for those keywords on google.com or not more. So it measures this brand uplift in search plus just like some questionnaire. So another way of checking, it's still like under, it used to work, now it's on pause. We're expecting it to be working again soon. We can track view-through conversions. So if the person saw the ad on YouTube, we can see it in analytics and actually tell like if those YouTube videos presented in the channel, conversion channel. We can run, it's also beta. It's called the conversion lift, but it's like it has some budget requirements, but much higher than brand lift studies. So we can, if you run a video ad with huge reach, then we can measure how it affected your conversions, but it should be tested at scale to get like significant results. And obviously in double-click attribution checks and tracks everything. Brand lift, yeah. So we can measure either ad recall, brand awareness, consideration, favorability, and purchase intent, and brand interest. Different questions and different data on brand lift will be in the deck. If you are interested, like how it's working, what's the length, how much it costs, it's all written here. Yeah, and I wanted to tell you about a new beta product. It's called Review for Impact. So how it's working, we start a YouTube campaign. We have a sample of people who actually saw the ad. Then we ask them, then we send them a questionnaire. Do you like ads of which brands have you seen recently on YouTube, and etc. And then only people who favorably answer those questions, the system tries to find similar people. And then it asks kind of similar question. So it adapts. It's not just targeting particular people, like some demographics or interests. It actually finds people who are similar to those who favorably answered brand lift questions. So it's it's learning, and it's readjusting, it's starting on the way. And yeah, so that's how it's working. It's called Review for Input. So it tries to find people who are impressed by your ads or similar people.
And what's the difference between the other two views?
Sorry?
What's the difference between the other two views and this beta?
Yeah, so to view, generally you just tell the system, okay, I need to target people interested in online education of this age. That's it. And then the system finds people who are in this group, and that's it. To Review for Impact, it starts showing the ads to people you like to the target audience, but then it immediately starts asking, like after a week, it starts asking people, okay, do you remember the ad? Like, have you seen this ad? Like, and if the person replies, yes, I remember, and like, yes, like I will buy this product, for instance, then the system tries to find a similar person. So it's not using a particular sample, it's always learning and tries to find people who are similar to those who like the ads. Yeah, that's actually it for about TrueView. I also have bumper ads, so unskippable bumper ads. Unskippable ads we definitely don't recommend, but unskippable 6 seconds bumper ads, they're good to remind people. They're super cheap, several cents, and they are 6 seconds, and you can skip them, so you can be sure that the person will get the message, probably like some bright.
Just yell some.
Yeah, it's good as a marketing tool. So if you need to remind like at scale, remind that then bumper ads can work.
How do they look?
Like let me find them. I can try to find you an example. I think I have an English first example.
And these slides and links to recordings, I guess you will send to Anna, right? And
Yeah, I'll share it with Elena, Dima, and all you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I found some examples. They're a bit basic. Okay.
This one? I don't know to actually read, but I think it's Ina.
Elena is right.
In your language, you don't have the same letters? No,
No.
Bulgaria has the same.
Bulgaria.
But it looks like Greek.
What does it say in Greek?
No,
It's not the same letters, these ones, but they have some same as Greek.
Okay, no, it's not very.
If you
Elena
know
wins.
Okay, so I guess it is Ina. It's interesting, it's so similar.
Who else is on the call? So Dimitri, obviously, Elena, Ina, and who is the second Elena?
The second Elena.
Yeah. Yeah, we have 2 Elenas now.
We have 2 Elenas for already 2 years. She's just not working with your projects. She's working with other brands.
Okay.
Okay, so the actually the ad like that. It's like so.
Not too sure.
Or it's also very basic. Oh, let's see, maybe this one.
It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt, and germs.
Yeah, this is South African.
It's better. It works better with short sentence like this. Want a better job? Get your master's. No, you can fit that in 6 seconds.
Get your 90-day fiancé now.
Write that down.
We went on vacation with a toe dipper and left with a cannonballer.
Oh, that was cute.
A tasty cup of
Although I don't know what the ad was for.
Delicious.
And can we schedule these bumpers to not run in the background?
Sorry.
Can we schedule these bumpers to not run in the background? For example, if the user is listening to music or something and it's not active.
Like it only runs if they're on that tab.
Yeah, if the tab is active.
Is that possible?
We want them at the top of their focus.
I mean, they will run only if the user is actually on this particular.
Yeah.
That's how
So not if
set up.
he's listening some playlist.
Oh no! If first if I'm listening to Spotify and I open YouTube, they will like.
Yeah.
They will play anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
where everyone's like, it's 2018. Why can't I listen to YouTube and text on WhatsApp?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it works out great for us, save us money.
Yeah. So that's how they actually look. Yeah, very, very like again, like if it's your first interaction with a client, like obviously it's probably not the best idea because like you can't, if you don't know the brand, it's a bit confusing. It's kind of confusing. But if it's a repeated like interaction, especially for Dojo, for instance, then it's
mostly for big brands which are
Yeah.
new product.
Or for marketing for adults.
cool. Yeah, that's it. So actually, the presentation with brand lift results, it will be tomorrow because I want to show it to our son. I didn't add it to this presentation. So tomorrow, I'm going to be in the office, right?
Yeah.
So we prepared like again a like growing partnership with Google thing, kind of joint business plan. I will share some of the data on countries that quite like can be your priorities for export. And also some data on mobile sites and CRM integration. And Arsene will just be talking like about like, his vision of
our partnership.
yeah, as well. Yeah. If you have like any questions before tomorrow, definitely just send me an email, or like if you have any questions, or you can ask me just tomorrow or right now or like anytime. And yes, I think Lena, Dima, Lena, if you have any questions, feel free to.
I think we're fine for now.
Yeah. I'll send all the links hopefully by tomorrow's meeting. If not, tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.